So yesterday we started with this import and export stuff, which is what you are going to be using when you are dealing with React, because React is not going to put everything in a single file. It will separate it into different files. But how do you bring or how do you connect all this functionality together? So we need this ESX features, which is this is not the only ESX feature that we have, but this is one of them for now. And later on, we need the other one. I'll bring them in like that. So we have a lot of ESX features that you can use there. One of them is this modules. And modules allows you to split your functionality into different files. So here we have the index, which is connected to the HTML page, and we have this app.js. So how is this browser going to be aware that this index is using something here? Because you are not connecting this app to this index. The only thing you are connecting here is just this index.js. So why is this index.html be is going to know that you are picking something from this app.js directly from index without you connecting it to a page. So you have to include your script using this module. And module now, anywhere JavaScript is seeing this, your import or export, it knows that you are dealing with the module features, which allows you to split functionalities into different files. But now that we know about this, how do we actually use it in framework? Now, still other thing we need to talk about, but I'll be using the framework to talk about them like that. So, which framework do we want to use, or which library do we want to use? So, we want to use React. So when you're talking about library, this is just a bunch of JavaScript put together that you can now install in your project and use it to, instead of you creating the functionality yourself, someone has already created all this somewhere, save it somewhere. You is just to go there and get the file, then include it in your project. But the way we did it with Node.js is quite different from the way other these people used to handle their own. You whatever you want to do, you install them through the terminal. That is why we left terminal at that time. So you install everything you want to do through the terminal. Not that you just go to the browser, you be clicking button to download React. No, we don't do like that. You walk through the terminal. Through that terminal is where you download whatever you need to download, and then to put it in the folder where you need to put all the necessary stuff that you need. But with the Node.js, we actually have something referred to as npm. So npm is just a node package manager. So we use it to manage all the packages that are under the node. Like mean any package that is created for node to build node application, we have a like a central store where all these packages used to be saved. So you can now go there and look for any package you want to use in your project, and it will give you the information. But how do you manage all these projects? How do you manage all this package in your project yet? That's where npm comes in, which is what we call the node package manager. So this is the one that will help you to manage all the packages that you're using for your project. So when you want to download, when you want to delete, when you want to update, and when you want to do a lot of things that is related to the packages you are using for your project, npm is what you are going to be using there. And this npm here, uh, how do you communicate with it? There is something like a UI where you be clicking button. So here, this npm, you be calling it through your command line there. And this npm come with different command that you can use to work with it there. So let me put it in again inside this command text so that you can have access to it later. So we have this npm, and this is the node package manager. And what do you use it for? We use it to manage all the packages that is built using node, because React or any other JavaScript framework, they are built using this runtime here, which is a node. So how do you now manage all this package? You want, okay, you are building a site, and instead of you creating a functionality that deal with managing updates, you can actually go online and look for a library that do that for you. So instead of you working on it from scratch, you just use the library that have already been built down, and you just include it in your project. But how do you get that library into your project without you doing a lot of work yourself? That's where the npm now comes in. Because normally if you want to do it, what you have to do is go online, download whatever you need, you copy, you extract it out, you copy it, you now put it in your project. But you don't need to do that because Node come with this npm that manages all the packages that you'll be using for your project, and it have where you used to save all these packages. All right, and again too, it have the record, so that when you leave the system and you want to continue the project on another system, the only thing that you just need is just the manifest of your project. And what I mean by manifest, we are going to see by the time we generate a node project, because you need to generate a node, all of them, like the React, Angular, whatever stuff, all of them are node project. And when you are generating a node project, it comes with a manifest. It's just a file that have record about the application you are working on, like the name of the application, the version of the application, all the packages that you are installing for that particular project. So it have the like it have the record of everything. So when you now transfer the project to another system, you'll be transferring the packages, like the one you've installed in this system. You not transfer, it's only your project file, and along with that manifest that you transfer to other system. And from there now you can now talk to npm, okay, this is the manifest of my project, then install the same package that I'm using here on this other system, without you going through the process of you doing install package one, install, because when you are installing them for the first time, you'll be mentioning the package you want. But after you are done with the packages here, you can go to another system and replicate what you have on this system without you going through the process that you are going through. And that's where this npm comes in to do all this magic behind the scene for you. And these are the common this thing that you need here. So these are the common command that you are going to be using with npm there. So the first one is to create a node project. For now, you don't even need this one. Whatever library you want to use is going to help us to do this one, but you need to know what they are doing behind the scene. Like, so to create a node project, that means the node.js project, is just by using this npm init. So this one is what is going to initialize a project that you want to use that uses node.js. So it's the one that will create the necessary folder, and along with the manifest, like the name of the project, the version of the project, who is the creator of the project, what's the address of the project, and so forth like that. That's what this one will set up. Not that it will set up your code. You have to be the one that will do the code yourself. But it will set up all the basic stuff about the node, like the manifest, the name of the project, and so forth like that too. For this one, later on, we are going to be using the tools to even do this one. But based on the library you are using, they've already set up all the necessary basic file for you. The only is that to add the UI that you are trying to build there like that. But the basic one, they will help you to set it up. Or if you are working from scratch, that you are creating your own node project and you don't want to use other tools, this is the first thing you need to do, which is this npm init like that. So yeah, I can go to any folder. For example, I can just cd, let me enter this React here. So cd React, and if I enter this particular folder here now, because I'm already inside this Mayovest training play, because it's telling you that I'm here already. So from there, I can enter this folder, and once I enter the folder, I can initialize a node project. So how do you initialize a node project? By using this npm init. So it will ask you a series of questions based on the project that you want to create there. For example, like the project name. What's the name of the project that you're trying to, because every project is like React now is the name of that project. Again, we have the view, we have Angular, and so forth. So each one of them, that name this thing will be asking you is what is going to use as the name of the project, and so forth like that. This thing should not slow down. So once you use npm init, it will give you, as you can see, this utility will walk you through creating a package.json. So this package.json here is what we refer to as the manifest. So this is the one that will have the record about your project, like the packages you are installing that you'll be doing later on. It have record about the name of the project, who created, who is the author of the project, what is the link of the project, and a lot of other extra information about the project. But it's going to help you to work. Can you see? The first thing it's asking for is the packaging. Packaging is like the name that this you can use to deploy your project later on when it's something that you want to make it open source. If it's something that you want to make it open source means that people can see your code and they can contribute to the code. So you are making it available to the outside world that I'm not the owner of this thing. I give you access so that you can help to contribute to the project there. But whether it is open source or it is closed source, which is private one, you always give the name of the, and the name here convention is that you should not contain anything like space. Anywhere you need to add space, you can just use iPhone to reach the store. But by default, if you don't specify it, it will want to use the name of the folder where you are currently working on. That's why it's put React in front of it there. This React is not related to the React you want to install later on. It's talking about the folder. And by default, if you don't do the name, it will assume that you want to use that same name of the folder. So if you want to use it, if you want to accept what is inside bracket, just press enter without typing anything. But you don't want to accept the default one that is going to use, then you can type your own like that. So for example, Mayovest React like this. So this is the name of the package like that. If I press enter, and easily the next thing is what is the version. So if you don't want to accept that default one too, you type it like that. But I would accept that default. What is the description? How to create React project like this. You won't be doing this soon. I told you won't be doing it. So what's your entry point? Entry point means that which file do you want to run anytime you are using Node with this particular project, or anytime someone is importing this your project, what do you want to run, which file do you want to run. That's what we call this entry file. And you can see it said it's going to use index.js, but if you don't want, you can actually change it to another thing. So this is what it's going to look for like that. So what is the test command? I don't need any test command. What is your git? I mean, no, you'll be saving this code later on to the GitHub. So what is now the address? So this is, so if you have it, you can put it there. If you don't have, just press enter. The keyword, the author who created this stuff like that. So Mayovest like this. And if I press enter, what's the license? Use the default license. And are you okay with everything? Just press yes, and it's going to generate that manifest file. So every of this information that you provided here is going to generate all of them, and it will put it inside this manifest. So, and again, so this is not all. As you started installing your library later on, it will be putting everything like whatever library you install, the version of the library install, it will put everything inside it. So that when you transfer this project to another system, once you have this manifest there, once you click install like this, it will come to this file, and whatever library you've listed inside this file, it will install all of them, which will make it possible to kind of transfer your code from one system to another system. Not that you now start the process again. No, just transfer the manifest along with the file. You don't need to transfer where it's going to be installing the this into, because the file, that folder used to be large, and you don't want to be transferring the stuff around. Like maybe whatever library you install, it will save a copy on your system, but you don't want to be transferring this file everywhere. So it's something you can quickly install, not you doing copy and paste, because it will take a lot of time to transfer it from one system to another one. So what you just do is have the manifest and your code, transfer that one, you get to another system, you just do install. Then to check this manifest, whatever library you are using, it will install the same copy on that system there like that. But this process, you won't be doing it for the front end side, but for the back end, if you are using Node, you have to follow this one here. So that's why I'm doing this. So after you've already created the Node project like that, so how do you install a library? So to install a package, which is the package is just the same thing as a library. A library is just a combination of different uh, files that come together to achieve a goal like that. So for that, for example, I can have a package that works with dates. So that package now can have a lot of functionality that you like. The one that help you to subtract date, the one that help you to add date, the one that help you to check whether the date is before another date. And so you don't want to be creating all this in yourself. You need to install some of the library. But how do you install the library? Is by using this npm install, then followed by the package name, and you can install multiple packages at the same time as you want. So this package 2, package 3, just separate each one of them with space. Or for the shortcut one, instead of you using install, just use I. So it's the same thing. So whether you use npm install package name or npm install npm I package. So I is just the short form of this install here. So instead of you doing that, you can just use this npm install. And once you click on npm install, you type the command here, it will install the library into that particular folder you are working on. So if you install any library and you've not really set up this package or this, it will still do it for you automatically when you're installing a library. But you need to keep record of the library you are. By default, it will keep record. By my actually tell it that you don't want it to keep record like that. So if you don't want it to keep record, so if you don't want don't keep record like this. So when you want to install, you are going to use npm I Then the package, you can actually use install instead of the I, but I'll be going with the I right now. So you just give it this option here, which is going to be uh, no save like this. So what you're saying is that you don't want it to save the stuff, but if you don't pass anything to it, it will create this package notation automatically, which means like it will tell you the version and the name of the package you are installing. Because all these packages too, they used to change. Just like your own project too is having version like 1.0. So all those projects too, they have their own thing, and they used to change the library, like update or remove something from it. So you need to know which one you are using for your project. So this thing will record the project you are using along with the version that this thing is using there. Because if your project is using version 10 and you go and install version 5, this thing can cause problem, because there's something that will be missing there. Or you are using version 5 and you go and install version 10 later on. The way you are doing things in version 5 might be different from the way it will be done now with version 10. So you have to use the exact, and this thing will record. So in order for you to start remembering now, oh, which one did I even install when I was starting this project, you don't need to worry yourself about that one. The npm will manage everything for you. That's why it is Node Package Manager. But where all these packages are being saved, the package you want to install, where are being saved? Because it's not just something that you just type any package and it will bring it. It must be something, it must be a package that is registered already. So where is npm being registered? We have this npm here, npm.js.com. This is the site where you can publish your package. You too can go there, create account. Then when you are done with your package, you can actually publish so that other people can use it too. Like that. So any package you are looking for that deal with Node.js, you can come here to search for the package like that. So for example now, I can search for React, even though we are not going to be installing React directly by ourselves. We are going to use the tools to do that one for us, because there's a lot of things you need to set up when you're dealing with React. So can you see, this is the original React, but there are a lot of things that have been developed for React that you can use. So we have this React hook form. We normally use this one to help us to deal with form in our React application, which help us to manage a lot of things like the validation, the arrangement, and everything like that. We can use. We are going to see how to use it. And as you can see, it was updated 2 days ago. Can you see the current version? 7.51.5. So whatever package you are installing there, it will tell you the version. This is the current one, but you can actually mention any version that you want to install sometime like that. So how do you do that one? How do we tell it to install a specific version? So install a specific version like this. So what you can do here is to use npm then the package name, then you have at version like this. So for example, I can use npm I react, which is going to be at 19.1.2 like that. So I'm talking to this npm that this is the version. Don't, because by default, if you just use npm install package name, it will install the latest one. But at some time you want to install a particular version, so you can use this method to install a specific version like that. But most of the time, this is what we'll be using, because we want to use the updated one like that. But if you are working with the project before, and that project, one of the library is requiring a specific version, so you have to use this method. And as you can see, the way the version used to be, the version is always this 3 number. The version is always this 3 numbers separated by this dot. If you look at it, that's the version, and that's the convention. All of them follow 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I think I've not mentioned it, maybe I've mentioned it before. This is what we call major, this is what we call minor, and this is what we call patch. So when they increase this number, it means they fix a problem in that library, but it's not affecting you. Maybe you have the problem before, maybe you install version 7.51.4, but you now detect that something is not working correctly, so someone reported that bug. So when they now fix it, this is when this number is going to be increased. So this number used to be increased when there is a bug and they fix that bug. But this one means that when this number increase, this second one, it means no error, but they are adding a new feature to your this thing. But you don't need to care about it. If you like, you use it. If you like, you don't use it. So it's just a new addition that you can check out. But once this first number here change, It means the way you used to do something in the previous version is that different from the way we used to do it now. So if you have to do a plus b in version 6, that means here now you have to do a times b, or you have to do it in a different way to get the same result. So anytime this number increase, it means something has really changed that you need to watch out for. Because if you don't watch out for it, the way you be expecting this thing to work, it will not work like that. So but now we don't care about a lot of all these things. And as you can see, when you want to work with React, you need this React itself, you need this React DOM, and a lot of other things here that we don't want to start doing by ourselves and start setting it up. And that's the reason why we need another tools that will help us to install React, couple everything together, and we just spin up our server and it will start working there. So what do we need? So there's a lot of different ways of generating a React application. One of them, and the most simplest one, is by using this Vitejs, which is a Python or Vite or Byte, depending on what you want to call it. So this one now is a tool that help you to install any of these popular framework that we have outside there. So you can use it to install React, you can use it to install Vue.js, you can use it to do a lot of other frameworks that is supporting it. So if I click on it, you can even use it to build normal JavaScript code, which is going to spin up the server for you like that. So the Vitejs is a tooling that you need that will set up the React for you like that, because you won't be going through the process like this by doing npm install React, then you install that thing, you now couple everything together yourself. No, because there is a lot of things to be done behind the scene. Because React is not just something you send to the browser like that. This is something that needs to happen outside of the browser. It will now send the results to the browser, and there's a lot of things that need to convert the React code to normal HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code. Because the way you be typing thing here is quite different from this normal way. Look at this one too. Look at this one that I'm using here. This framework I'm using. You see that there is some stuff I'm typing here that you don't really have in normal HTML. So that thing now, the framework needs to convert it to what the browser is going to understand. So there's some tool that needs to be set up that will be doing that conversion. So as you are typing in React, it will be converting it to what the browser will understand there like that. And you are going to see all these things that you are going to be typing, but it doesn't work out of the box like that. And you have to do a lot of setup. But why do you need to be doing all this thing when we have a tooling that can help you to do all this thing within number of few seconds there instantly like that? So and this thing supported a lot of frameworks that you can use it with. So once you click on get started, it will take us to a screen where you are going to see a bunch of information that is going to be too much for someone that is starting. But what the side you need is this part here. So as you can see, it can help you to set up vanilla is just normal JavaScript without you using any framework. So anytime you hear the vanilla stuff, what we are saying is like the default stuff, like normal JavaScript without you using any framework. That's what we call vanilla. So vanilla JS means you are not using any framework, you are using normal JavaScript. So that's what we call vanilla. But these are now other framework that you can use. So we have the Vue, we have React, we have Preact, we have Lit, we have Sphet, we have Solid, and we have this. So there's a lot of frameworks out there, but it does depend on which one you want to use. And this React is the one that have more job opportunity compared to the other one like that. But the vanilla is just normal JavaScript. So I'm going to click on React, and once you click on it, it will take you to a screen where you can set up React. But you don't even need to go to that side. You can actually just type the command that you need to start working with Vite like that. So how do you to install React using Vite? Because there are different ways of installing React. So using but this one, I want to follow the way of the Vitejs. So how do you install it? It's just by using this npm create Vite, then at latest. At latest means you want the updated one, not any other. No, I told you that at there, whatever that follows it is the version. But latest means install the latest version of this Vite. Don't go and install any other version for me. I want the latest one. And this is how you are going to create a React project or any Vite application. This is how you do it for it, because it's going to ask you which framework you want to use. Then you now pick the one. But the one we need to pick there is React there, like that. So All these things that I have here, I'm going to change the name. So let me change the name like this. So cd, there's a command I want to use now, which is like rename. You rename here, but here it is known as move. So which means you are moving one thing from one place to another. So what do I want to move? I want to move this React into before React. So I want to rename that folder from React to before React like that, because I want to create another folder as React, so that that's where we now have the actual React stuff. Because everything that is inside this one is not really React code. It's just something that is explaining what you need before React like that. So I want to change the name. As you can see now, the name has now it's something like React again here. It has changed to before React. You know, if you want to do it here, just like click and you're going to see rename. But now I'm doing it directly from the terminal. So the move, it will move everything that is inside this one along with the name into what you have there, like that. So this is so MV is just move, and you have CP2. So if you want to copy, so that's what you use. But for now, you don't need it. So what do we need to do? I need to make directory, which is something you've known already by now. So make directory. Which directory do I want to make? React like that. So you're going to create this project now, and that's why I have to rename that one, because you cannot have two React folder. Like you cannot have two folder with the same name. It's not possible. So it will not work. So now let's enter the folder, which is going to be cd react. So inside this react now, we want to set up our React project. So how do you set up React project? It's by installing React using this Vitejs. And how do you do it? All this thing, I'm not taking them from my head, is on their doc. So which is something you need to know how to read, because when you're working on all this framework, you must know how to read documentation. Because a lot of things you don't need to cram. All these things are online already. You just need to go to their site. You go to where the doc is, which is what we call the documentation here. So under their documentation, they will tell you how to install anything you need to install. Not that you cram. You don't need to cram anything there. But the more you do this thing, the more this thing too is going to stick to your head. Because if you are doing this thing every day, then there's no way you forget the stuff. But because this thing is going out, you can quickly go to their site and you see how you can install any one of them. So if I can you see, this is what we call scaffolding your Vite project. Scaffolding is just like you creating a project. And this scaffolding, what it's going to do is that it's going to generate all the necessary folders and files that you need to start your project. So instead of you creating them one by one, it will create all of them for you at once. So that's what we call this scaffolding there. So which is going to, so how do you create it? As you can see, what I just typed there, this is this is where it's coming from. But what, we have different package manager now for Node. So but the one we are using is just the default one. But you can actually install a different package manager. These are the other different package manager you can use. But the one we are using right now is npm, and this is how you are going. This is command. You don't need to put this dollar. Dollar means that that's where you put your command. It's only that that's prompt. So the thing is expecting you to type something, not that you copy the dollar together. So in case you need to, you can just copy the stuff, which is something I've already typed there. And once it's done, as you can see, you can quickly create other projects too if you want instantly. So this one will set up view project. You just need to change the name to whatever the name that we have there. But I don't need you to use this one, but this thing will still ask questions too. I like that. So the one we need to use is just this one. And it will start asking us the question, then you start answering the question, and once it's done, it will create all the necessary file and folder that it needs to generate for you there. So let me clear this in so that I can start from the top side like that. So waiting, waiting. All right, so how do we set it up? So using our npm, you have to be in the correct folder. See that I'm inside the correct folder where I want to put my project. Anywhere you want to put your project, you have to be inside that folder. But whatever you are doing, it will happen in the current folder you are working on. So if you are inside training 3, it means that's where it's going to put everything. And if you are inside this folder, this is where it's going to put all the file that is going to generate for you. So what do we need to use? npm create, then the Vite at latest. So you need to install this Vite first, like that. And once you done installing the Vite will start asking you some questions. Based on your question, it will generate the project folder for you, like that. So let's wait for it, depending on the network stuff. So It's going to ask the question, do you want to install Vite? Yes, you click yes, and from there, once you're done installing, it will now ask you a question about your project, which is going to ask you like the project name, which is what that npm unit was asking that, because it will set up the npm behind the scene for you. That package of JSON, it will set it for you. So it will ask for the package name you want to use, and it will ask you which framework do you want to use. Is it React? Is it Vue? Is it Light? Or is it Quick? And other one that you saw on their side there. So why is it taking time? Yeah, so like as you can see, it's asking you, do you want to install? Can you see the current version is 5.2.3? That's the bit that you want to. So now click yes, which is Y. And once you click here, can you see it will download the stuff for you. You don't need to start going to I need to change my node version. I need to change my node version because of the project I was working on. I have to switch to node 16, but I need to go back up to, can you see it's requiring for node 18 and 8 and greater than 20.00. But currently I'm using 16.18.0. So which means whatever I want to do now, it will not work. Look at it. Now I told you my own system, I have a lot of node installed. So not just one node, but your own side is only one node that you have installed. But on my own system, because of your project, I'm working with a lot of projects, and each one of them requires a particular version of node. So I have a lot of them installed, right from 12 all the way to 20. And currently here, so if I use mvm list, you see that the one that is using currently is 16.18.0. Like that, you can see it's using 16. But this thing requires from here, requires anything from here upward. But I'm using something here. That is why it's talking about that I'm using unsupported engine like that. But it's still doing the stuff, just that your project might not work correctly like that. So what do we need to do is asking for our project name. Whatever the name of the project, that's what is going to use to create a folder under this particular React, because I'm working with it. But what if I want to put everything under React? So you can use the dot. Don't forget the dot means current folder. When you do dot dot, no, that's previous folder, which is what I've talked about before. So dot slash current folder, dot dot slash previous folder. So I will just use dot. What I'm saying is I just use the same name as my current folder as the project stuff. So it will put everything on another place. If you type another name here, it will create that folder and put everything there, which is not what I want. So or that's what I even want sef. But I will call it starter. Let me cancel everything first. And let me switch my node back to 20. So mvm use 20.11.0. So it's going to switch my node. Yeah, my node has been switched. So what I need to do here is to call the command again. So npm create vite at latest like this. So it's going to download the vite create vite app, and from there that one will now set up your project. So let me wait for it again. You're not going to have any, I'm not going to have any error here because I'm now using version 20, which is greater than what is expecting like that. So there shouldn't be any error here. Okay, so as you can see now, no error. Just use the dots so I can put it. So the next thing is asking you which framework do you want to use. Vanilla, you are not using any framework, you are using normal JavaScript. But the one we're actually in is React. So you use the arrow up or down to switch between each one of the options there. So if I press enter, so which engine do you want to use? Do you want to use TypeScript, which is not what we want to use? So what we want to use is JavaScript. It's still React, but it's JavaScript because we have TypeScript, which is kind of an advance of this JavaScript. So press enter, and it's going to. Can you see now? He said he has already stamped for the this thing like this. So if you check it now, can you see? It has created all the necessary file and folder to start with React. So can you see? It's generated this package.json, the config, which is the one that will be doing some conversion. The Vite will be the one that will be doing the magic later on behind the scene, and it have all the tools that you don't need to worry yourself about, because it's one that will be doing the conversion of React code to what the browser can actually use, and it's the one that will spin up the server for you. You're not going to be using anything like Go Live again. It comes with its own server because you need to convert all the code to a proper stuff that the browser can use, and it will send it to the browser automatically there. And as you can see what it's saying, he said we need to install all the library that we need. Look at it. There is this package of JSON here, and this package of JSON, look at it now, it's containing something like what we did before when we use our npm unit. So the Vite will do that magic for you behind the scene. The only thing it just needs from you is the version of your, the name of your project like that. And I'm calling it React, but it's not React that we're supposed to be calling it. So I'm going to change the name to React Starter like this. And again, private means this thing is not going to be visible to outside world when you deploy it to that npm registry where we type different packages there. So if you want it to be public, then you have to remove this private, but for now we leave it. And as you can see, it's using type of module, so which means you can do anything like import and export in your code that you're having here. So the scripts are what you want to run to execute some command. So instead of you typing this long command yourself, you can actually create alias for some of the command you'll be typing from your terminal here. So instead of you typing all this long command every time, look at the command that you need to be typing every time in case you want to perform this action. So, and you know this thing is really long, and instead of you doing it every time, you can now create alias or name for it. So this alias now, you can now use it from the node directly, and it will now come back here and run your this long command that we have here. So the major thing you need to focus on here are these scripts, the dependency, and the dev dependencies. Every other stuff is just normal thing there like that. So this dependency now, this is where all the packages that you want to use when you are building your application for production are going to be saved. And as you can see, we have two packages here. We have these two packages here. The first one is React, because that's the framework you want to use, and the second one is this React DOM. So this is the one that will communicate with the browser, because React on its own is a library. It doesn't know whether you are dealing with mobile app or you are dealing with the web browser. So how are you now going to transfer all the code to the browser? That's where we have this React DOM, because you can actually use this React to build mobile app. A lot of mobile app that you see these days, they are built with this React. So just like the way you can use it to build web app, you can use it to build mobile app too. But how do you tell to React that okay, everything is going to generate for you? Is to kind of send it to the browser. That's where this React DOM comes in, which is now you know what is DOM: document, object, model. So it's the one that will do all the magic of you are doing query selector, all those event listener, whatever stuff. This DOM is the one that is going to manage everything for you. Why the React is the major stuff, because that's the library you are using, which helps you to build the interface. And once you build the interface, then the React DOM will send it to the browser so that the user can see what is going on. So this dev dependency now, they are dependency too that you use in your project. They are library too you are using in your project, but they are only going to be there when you are developing your application. So when you are in developing mode, that's where all these library are going to be used. But when you are in production mode, these are the only two library that is going to be installed. So this dev, that's why the name is dev. Dev dependency is only used when you are developing application, while the normal dependency here is used when you are dealing with the production code. So the only thing to be installed when you want to deploy your application is just this React and this React DOM. But when you are developing your application, it's going to install all of them. And as you can see, each one of them is having the version that is going to install. So your package of this will keep the history of the library name and along with the version that is going to install like that. But how do we install all this in now? How do we install all of them? How do we install all of them? So how do we install them? What do we need to do? So how do we talk to this package manager that come inside this file and install any library you see under the dependency and this dev dependency? So because the npm is no package manager and it knows about that package or JSON. So what we just need to do is that just use npm I or npm install without mentioning any package name. If you mention the package name, it will only install that one only. But if you don't mention the package name, it will come to this file and install all the packages that you have under this dependency and dev dependency like that. So if I use npm I, what it's going to do is that it will come to this file and it start installing all of them at once, like that. And once this is done installing, you are going to see the result on the screen by telling you the number of packages it's going to install. Just because you have like maybe 10 here doesn't mean that's the 10 is going to install. Some of this library too, they are depending on another library. That's why this is package manager. So if this your library is depending on another package, it will install that package first before installing this one. And you see here now, if you count all this library, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What we have here is 10. But by the time this thing will be done with whatever it's going to do, you see that it will install more than 10 packages, because each one of these packages too, they are depending on other packages. So this thing, it will fetch all of them and it will connect them together, without you worrying yourself about which one you need to install, which one has not been installed, and so forth. You just say install, it will look for whatever that library is depending on first, and it will install the stuff, and any necessary stuff it needs to do, it will fix it there, like that. So once everything is done installing, you just see that, it will tell you that all these packages, oh, these are what I actually install. Because you might actually want to install one package and it's going to install 10 packages, because those packages too might be depending on another package, and you need to resolve them before resolving the original one that you want to install. So any packages that you are trying to install there, if that package is depending on another package, it will firstly install the one that is depending on before installing the one you mentioned. And sometimes some of these packages used to depend on other packages too. Like, that's what we do here. We don't reinvent the wheel. That means you don't recreate the same thing again and again and again like that. Uh, what was this thing doing? So if they see that somebody has been doing this thing before, they will just use the same code, like install that library. So this, yeah, this thing is done, and as you can see the list of library that was installed, 103. But where are this thing being saved to? Anytime you install a library, it will generate these node modules. So inside these node modules, that's how you're going to have all the list of, can you see a lot of them? So all of them, these are the packages that all these stuff that we have under this dev dependency and dependency are depending on. So it will install all of them. But you don't work with this node module, so you don't even go there at all. It's the node that will be managing, and the npm that will be doing all this management behind the scene. It knows how to connect all of them together. But inside these node modules, that's where all the packages will be saved. And for this particular project, if you create another one, you have to install that one its own library too. And that's the reason why you can work on multiple projects on the same system, because each one of the projects have their own copy of the package you are using for that particular project. Not that when you install the package for this project, that same thing you'll be using for other projects. Each one of them, as you can see that the node module is under that folder. So if you go and create another folder and you set up the project, it will be inside that one too. That one too will have its own copy of it. So that when one project is using version 10, another project can be using version 20, and they won't disturb each other. And that is why I was able to kind of, like, if you look at it, okay, I've not opened it currently here. Now the one I'm working here, the framework I'm working with there, is using version 11, but another one that we're working on, we're using version 17. But that doesn't mean they will affect each other, because each one of them have their own copy of the library or the packages that they are using there, like that. So if I go under the file, you are going to see the stuff. What is this thing so like?
Let's say we work on one folder, yeah, one library, using
One project.
yeah, one project that's using Valentine, and the other one that we're working on currently, they are using the same version like that.
Yes, they are not related to each other. They don't, like, they are not the same thing. Each one of them will have their own copy of node module. So each project will have its own copy of node module. So now how do we run the project? So how do we see our project? If you look at it, this thing has already given us the command to call that time. So once you use npm install, the next thing you need to do is npm run dev. What is run? The run is what we used to use to run any script that we want. So when you want to run a script, you are going to use npm followed by run, then followed by the script name. So what is the script name? They are the one under this script, under this your package dot json. So under the package dot json, you are going to see the script, and the one you are going to use to spin up the server so that you can see the React application is by using this npm run dev. So now if I put the dev here, what this thing will do is that npm will come to this script inside this your package or JSON, and it will do whatever that is in front of uh the stuff that you mentioned. So if it is run dev, it will perform this. If it's called run build, it will perform this. If you call run lint, it will perform everything here. And if you call npm run preview, then it will perform what you have here. So instead of you typing all this command every time, you can now create an alias for them, which is what we call script. And you how do you now call all those scripts? Just use npm run, whatever the name of the script. So if I press enter, this one now will spin up the server and it will run the project. But don't forget, whatever you are doing, it must be inside the folder where you have your project. If you can't do it somewhere else, it will not work. Oh. So can you see here now it will tell you what is going to, can you see now it's calling the vit. So once you call the vit will spin up the server and it will send, can you see now, it has already spin up the server. So it's creating a server with this local host 5173. So if you want to see the result now, this is where you need to go to on the browser to see the result. So here now I just need to use local host. Don't forget local host is like this shopping complex, but inside the shopping complex you have different room. So the number at the end is what determine the room. If you want to go to the Mayovest office and we have the number, okay, go to room so, or go to this. So that's what this port number. On the same the same system, you can run different applications. But how do you locate the one you are looking for? Is through the port number. The other one I'm working on is running on port 4200. So the mobile that I used to work on is running on port 8100. But this one now is said that before you can see the result, you need to locate it with this port, because you have to look at the port is generating for you. But the port can change based on whether one application is using this port or not. Because two applications cannot use the same port. It can never be Two applications can never be inside the same room. Each one of them have to be inside a different places. So how do you now locate each one of them? Just mention the port number. As you can see, I've used 3000. Depending on the framework you are working with, each one of them used to generate this their custom this in there like that. So the one I need is this 5173, and if I save it and run it, if everything is okay, we should kind of see the scaffolding project there like that. But you need to run your project first before you can start, because if you don't run the project, it will not work. As you can see now, we now have the Vite plus React. But what is generating this code? This is what is generating this code here, which is what we'll be talking about in the next class there, like that. So under the source, can you see we now have this app.jsx, you see all the CSS, your CSS is still here too. You still be doing CSS. But here now, this is the stuff that is not different. Here, the way things are being represented here is not like your normal HTML code. It looks like HTML, but it's like a mixture of JavaScript and HTML together. And that's what the React stuff. So the result now that will now convert all this in, do all the magic it needs to do, send it to the React DOM, then the React DOM will now be the one that will send it to the browser. But you don't need to worry yourself about how this thing is getting to the browser. Nothing concern you about how this content are getting to the browser. That's what all this tooling and React is there for. Your own is just to tell it what you want, but how does it get there? You don't need to care about that one. It knows how to put anything it needs to put there and do all the necessary magic behind the scene there like that. So this is why we just stop, and next class we just continue from there like that. So